Sup, Alex? I didn't drink for a week, and I got to drinking about it again today. It's my first only beer I've had. For some reason I decided not to drink so much. It wasn't a conscious decision. It just happened. Anyways, so I was going to tell you about this Check Out the Hook while the DJ revolves it, and how they thought that I was an ultra-leftist. Which, I guess when you boil it all the way down to the nitty-gritty, I kind of am an ultra-leftist, but I'm not satanic. You know what I mean? Because I know why the Democrats think the way they think. See, the computer deceives them, the thing that's driving them. I mean, basically, they're just robots. And whatever comes out of their Borg minds is whatever's driven into their heads by the computer. And the computer knows, because they can obviously, if you haven't figured it out by now, they can see way into the future with quantum AI. I mean, down to the finest freaking details. I've proven this. I mean, the Korea story, all these stories, okay? They can predict the future because they're controlling people's minds, all right? Now, there's also extraterrestrial technology that can do the same thing. Woe to those who alter the blocks of life. Well, they're actually using this technology that makes everybody in Washington, a lot of them, puppet leaders. You know, it picks them based on their name, right? Even Trump, which is a Democratic puppet leader. Okay, but the reason that Check Out the Hook while the DJ revolves it, why they suckered this thing into me for the whatever program they wanted. Obviously, my mind has masterminded a lot of stuff. Okay, and you know, once they make a duplicate of you and put your mind into the matrix, well, you don't know what your partner's doing. Okay, because it's your brain somewhere else, and your partner can cook some shit up. That only you can figure out if you haven't noticed. Pegging old Bitcoin. So, anyways, ultra leftist. The only way that they got hooked is you can consider me an ultra leftist, as my anagram in my name clearly states, by the way. Is I understand why they think the way they think. And the way they think the way they think is because they know that the world can't sustain human population. So they pick the evilest ways to reduce the population, like killing babies and all. It's a computer driving them. The quickest way from point A to point B is to murder people, murder babies, get satanic, turn the entire world into a fucking satanic cult so we all kill each other. That's the Democratic strategy. Okay? Now, I agree that we need to curb the population trend. That's the number one thing you really need to start thinking about. Because, I don't know if you know, hyperbolic, okay? Hyperbolic. It's like the stock market or a stock. Once it gets to a certain point, it goes straight up, okay? Well, we're at that certain point in population. I mean, we've went from 1 billion people to 10 billion people or 9 billion, whatever we're at right now, in 100 years, okay? Now, the quality of life's better and everybody's living better and all these third world countries are just cranking out babies. Of course, America's taking the brunt of it. Like, we're at fault. Or we're the ones having all the babies. We're not. We have less babies than anybody because, well, we do a lot of satanic shit like kill babies, right? But I agree because I can also see the future really well if you haven't noticed. That's why they tortured me, was because I had buffalo chips and they know I could see the future really well. And they thought that I had something to do with getting President Trump elected. I don't know how all of that went down, all right? I wasn't that tied to this, I thought. You see, I didn't realize they had already duplicated me and was using my brain in the Matrix. Are you heeding some long, dormant jungle instinct, Pinky? Well, yeah, apparently I was. And apparently, obviously, my mind's pretty proficient at masterminding brilliance. However, I have a natural knack to forecast. Okay, it's a natural one. So you take a natural knack to do it, and then you add the cheat sheet to it, the apple sauce, all this other sauce that's out there. Okay, all these quantum AI that came here to the International Federation of Idiocracy Technology, and now you have a super forecaster, right? Somebody that had the natural ability. Now it's the quantum AI. Plus, they're trying to manipulate it to make me a super prophet, right? Which is a false prophet because they're controlling the outcome by mind controlling people. That's a fact. That's what they're doing. General Laporte and Captain Sims, okay? Quantum AI and outer space using relativity. What I wanted to get at here is we're all going to starve to death in 50 years when the population overnight in 100 years or in 100 years there'll be 20 billion people on the planet at this rate. Easy. The world, that whole thing about sustainment and all of that stuff, okay, I'm with Uncle Vlad. Mother Nature takes care of itself. Once we get to the point to where everybody's starving to death, everybody's going to start eating each other. Okay, problem solved. All right, I mean, Mother Nature does take care of itself. But they want a helicopter, and it's their fault that the population got this bad. They helicoptered mom us to death for so long that the population growth got out of. You can't even go down to the store and buy, I can't think of an example. There's some stupid shit that you can't buy, right? That you should use wisely. Okay, I had an example before. I can't think of one. But they don't allow you to buy even weed. I mean, come on, you can't buy weed. I mean, if a lot of this stuff was legal usually it gets better once you legalize it. Now they want everybody to go back to cigarettes and quit vaping, right? Because vaping's not as bad for you for cigarettes. So now they're trying to kill us. The bottom line here is the helicopter mommed us to death for so long that the population got out of control, and now it's booming. Of course, the third world countries don't apply to that, but if we keep growing in population, this is the ultra leftist, okay? Now, the difference that separates me, who down at the very core of it, I do think way ahead of the game, which in turn makes them think that I'm an ultra leftist, when really I would just wait. I would educate people, right? You educate them and say, look, if we don't stop breeding, we're going to go from, 10 billion. We've already went from 1 billion to 10 billion, okay? Now, if you want to go to 10 billion to 20 billion overnight, we're all going to starve to death. And you show people that chart, that happened in 100 years. You show people that chart and say, your kids that are 12 years old, 10 years old right now, when they're 35, 40 years old, they're going to starve to death. That newborn baby you just had, when it's 30 years old, it's going to starve to death because there's not enough food. Now, if you tell people that, instead of just coming up with all the stupid shit like global warming and all this different bullshit that they come up with, and just force feed it down everybody's throat to divide and conquer, the red pill, the blue pill, their scheme is so ridiculous because they have to have the power. I gotta have the power over them. That means I'm gonna deceive them and I'm gonna lie to them because I'm an ultra leftist, and really down at the core of my being, I have to murder and genocide this cancer on the planet. Because Chase agrees. We must curb the population trend. Well, I do agree. I'm not evil, right? So that was check out the hook while the DJ revolves it, because the other side had been using my mind without affecting my life, which I'd like to sue y'all too, by the way. I didn't realize that till recently. And, but I didn't have it. My life was perfect. They were just using my mind to pull into their whatever. How there's multiple quantum AIs. Well, the quantum AI, the conservative one, or Sputnik maybe, or Lockheed, whoever the fuck the first one was here, the AI-5, the one that sets everybody up perfectly. Check out the hook while the DJ revolves it. Take heed. lured the old. Okay, now that's the old Lockheed technology. Like I said, I think Lockheed hustled themselves. I don't know if there's two different divisions of Lockheed, and the old mummy fucked the new technology. Because I got both of them here. That's what's funny. So when all that shit I was talking about to Lockheed the other day, that was regarding your new technology. The mummy fucked everybody. Took me serious when I said, let's walk down there and fuck them all. So the hook, they the curve to popular way that I thought, and my forecasts were always accurate and all of that, and it was in line with the evil computer that chooses point A to point B for the left because they're just satanic and they don't care. They don't have a soul. Their soul's been sucked out of their body by this computer, so they do whatever the computer wants them to do. It's the evil point A to point B way. They pulled it into here because they knew that I would be like, look, you got to educate and it will work just as good. And and plus when the time comes, when we are, if you can't do it my way and solve this problem, like it's pretty easy to do, right? if the time does come where we're overpopulated and people are starving to death, well, I mean, fuck, people will start eating each other. This kind of solves itself, okay? So that's 25 years from now, and it's really 50. But what we're going to do is tell the public 25, right? And see that how much better that lie is versus women's rights. I'm going to program your mind to believe that it's your right to murder a baby. These motherfuckers are evil, man. I'm telling you.